Finish that book, so get it off of us. Where's our radios? Secondary hand. I want them all on one side of me. Don't hit the tent, come on. Oh, you jerk. And the tarp didn't survive of all the things. The tarp, which is the hardest part to find. Should have taken it down. Yep. Tent gone, run over. It's fine. The tent was something to fall back on a pinch. I don't think we'll need it for anything. At least not for a very long time. Probably should take a beta blocker. I'm not going to, but I should. Okay. For right now, I'm just going to leave that running. We've been stockpiling batteries, so we don't really care. And as the run goes on, I care less and less about the radio because we become more and more of a menace where helicopter means less and less because we can just fight. I bet you that annotated map is like, hey, you know, like right there is a house. Oh, we're basically fatigued. That makes sense. We are using a rolling pin. It is kind of a crap weapon. Alright, and like I said, at this point what we're going to do is just any zombies we see really close to our property, we're going to kill them, we're going to do a lap around these houses, and then we're going to push into the bar. And my hope is that we can clear the bar, we can clear the next business up the road, and maybe get to the bookstore, because it would be nice if I could get into the bookstore before the tropical storm rolls in. Just so we can grab a bunch of books, that kind of nonsense, because while a tropical storm is going on, we're probably going to train skills, because tropical storm. Yeah, this is the reason why we have to keep patrolling this area for now, is we're going to have zombies move in a little bit, and we're going to need to knock them down from time to time. But eventually, and when I say eventually, actually probably won't too long, you'll see less and less zombies showing up here. But then this also helps when the helicopter rolls around, because there'll be far fewer zombies. Now the question comes in, when it's time for the helicopter, I have basically two choices of how I can approach it. One is I can go down to the fields to the east. The pro there is it's very safe for me to do that. Like, they're very low risk. The downside is it also pulls all of the zombies from Ekron down across where I'm staying, which potentially means I'll have difficulty getting back to my stuff. The other option is the much more dangerous on the front end, is to actually go north through Ekron to the far end of it, while the helicopter's doing its thing, to try and draw as many zombies out of the buildings, break the doors, windows, all that. And, you know, the downside there is I'm now drawing all the zombies to where I'm trying to go, but it means I can recover my stuff very easily. I'm feeling like we're going to go north through Ekron for the next helicopter and just go with that. Oh, come on, game. That's another crash. Give me a moment. No, not in the very first one. I'll keep some stuff behind, but not too much. That's annoying because the last time we had this, it despawned some of the zombies nearby, which is a thing it does. And my understanding is normally it will respawn those zombies some period of time later, and unfortunately, it can respawn them directly on top of you. And why it wasn't nighttime? Like it rewound time a little bit. Yeah, because we have the broken rolling pin. I don't see both hordes? No, both hordes are here. Okay, so it rolled us back a tiny bit. That's fine. I just didn't want to like delete all the zombies like it did last time, because that was honestly pretty underwhelming for me. Because like we were doing like the epic battle into town, that's just like, oh, now those zombies are gone. They'll be back, but they're gone for now. Yeah, so I gotta kill this horde. Well, actually, not all the zombies are back. Because the group we killed over here is gone. And I think these numbers seem like... This one seems like we cleared off a few. Okay. So I think maybe it just switched our position, and like our position didn't update. It is what it is. I don't believe it's Project Zomboid that's crashing. I had some really funky stuff going on with OBS before stream, so I think it's something to do with that. But I don't want to, you know, completely stop the Steam, reboot, go down and all that, because it's always really bad for your stream when you do that. So I won't do it unless it's like a problem that keeps happening. And pretty soon I can stop picking up all these kitchen knives and all that kind of crap. OBS, not OBS Streamlabs. And I don't have too many plugins running. I actually run pretty light on the plugins. Like I said, it almost always really behaves. It's just something happened that when I went to start stream today, it was almost like when you run a video driver update, where like it'll blank the screen, drop the resolution, raise the resolution, blank the screen, drop it, raise it, like that kind of thing where it ping-pongs back and forth for a second while your drivers update. Like it did that for a few seconds, like, okay, that's weird, because normally if like I have a driver update, like it'll tell me, oh, I'm gonna do a driver update. But this time, it was just when I opened OBS, it started freaking out like that. And then the first time we had like a weird crash thing go on, that's how it exhibited itself. Is like it was like the resolution and all that went to crap, then back, then crap, then back, and it was weird. I'll have to properly troubleshoot it after stream and make sure I don't have some other issue sticking around. Like check our drivers, check our cables, all that kind of crap. Because it wouldn't be a loose cable issue, because that'd be the screen blinking off and on kind of thing, or going no input or whatever. The resolution kicking on and off makes me think it's a driver thing. So ultimately the difference between Streamlabs OBS and OBS is Streamlabs OBS has a lot of the plugins and all that kind of stuff preloaded, it's configured and all that. So the good news is for getting off the ground and started, perfect. And it will work for like 99% of your needs, and it's not like beginner versus advanced or anything like that. But because some of the configuration does kind of pigeonhole you on certain stuff. But like ultimately Streamlabs OBS is just a skin over top of OBS. So I do have my OBS all configured for stream and everything, and it's like I said, it's gone swimmingly. Like today is the very first day I've had any real problems with it. Because I've had Project Zomboid crash once in a while. But you know, that's Project Zomboid. And it's not super frequent. Versus today, something is being done. And like I said, I'm more apt to blame a video card driver. Or a Windows update or something. Like, I'll need to look and see what changed. Because I have absolutely seen horrendously bad video card drivers come out over the years. Oh yeah. Like, I will say Streamlabs OBS, like, for getting off the ground is fantastic. Because, like, half the stuff you're going to add to OBS. Because why wouldn't you? Like, being able to do alerts. Why would you not do alerts? Like, it garners engagement. It rewards people who are loyal to your stream. Like, I shouldn't say loyal to you. Who show up regularly to your stream. You know, it helps drive traffic. Like, it's a good thing. So it's really worth doing. And OBS, you have to take the time to go, alright, let me find the thing to do that. Let me add a browser source, all that kind of stuff. So, that is one of the things that I hadn't noticed network utilization, but I do know Streamlabs OBS had a higher CPU utilization. Now, granted, I've known a lot of people who have done way more testing that I would trust on this than myself. And they found it's kind of one of those things that's like, okay, Streamlabs OBS, you know, yes, it has a certain amount of CPU utilization. However, if you then take OBS and then add a bunch of the stuff that Streamlabs OBS has, then you get similar CPU utilization. But yeah, I hadn't heard about the bandwidth bandwidth use thing. Like, that's the first I've heard of that. I'd believe it. Like, that is, and this isn't me making a comment about Streamlabs OBS, this is when you usually get a piece of software that's the bundled, it comes with all the things you want kind of things. Usually it is a little heavy-handed in all the things it brings with it. And that usually has performance implication, whether it's memory utilization, bandwidth utilization, computation utilization, stuff like that. That said, I've heard that Streamlabs is absolutely fine, like, not that big a deal. You start adding all the functionality that Streamlabs OBS has into OBS, you have similar performance implications. Let's sit by the bed inside. That said, I haven't used Streamlabs OBS more than, like, you know, an hour or two here and there, just because it was one of those things that when I was first starting, like, to go, okay, I'm going to stream with intent of, like, actually trying to make affiliate in that case. I was like, all right, well, now let me sit down and, you know, use Streamlabs OBS, use OBS, see which one I like better, go through reviews, go through all that crap. Gotcha, Toothless Geek. Gotcha. Yeah, no, I believe you. Like, like, I am on fiber, so if it was using bandwidth heavily, I probably wouldn't have even noticed. So, like, for me, I rarely worry about network bandwidth and utilization unless, like, something very funky is going on. So at the moment, I'm not pushing into these buildings. Like, we're in good shape, we could. Instead, I'm pushing up the road to kill more zombies up advanced. The thought being is more than getting into those two businesses, I want to get into this green business right here. This bookstore right here, I want that bookstore. That bookstore and me, I want to spend time. Knowledge is power. Books are cool. Reading Rainbow. Oh, hello there, truck. You got some keys in ya? Cause if you got some keys in ya, I know where we can go find ourselves a generator. Like, legitimately, one of my things that kept me from using Streamlabs OBS is I have dealt with things where I've, what's the term I want to use? Where, you know, you're locked in on an environment, and then because you've been so accustomed to using that environment and all their services, it's very difficult to get yourself back out. Especially when you're talking, you know, like app stores, that kind of stuff, which granted, Streamlabs doesn't have that. So, like, my bigger concern, and the reason, one of the things that kind of shied me away from Streamlabs OBS is like, okay, OBS, I can use Streamlabs, I can use Stream Elements, I can go and bounce between everything. I'm not locked in. Versus if I use Streamlabs OBS, it very much puts you into wanting to use Streamlabs, which is fine. Okay, so there's no gas in here. Its muffler's shot, its engine's pretty terrible shape, so that truck's no good to us. When you're saying you just learned open source software anyway, you mean OBS? Or are you talking something else? Oh, yeah, you're talking OBS. Yep. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, if you're going to commit the time to learn it, that's great. Like, that is the perk of Streamlabs OBS. Is just if you want to sit down, have all the plugins loaded, and ready to rock and roll, it does its job. Like, you will be able to do perfectly fine. There are very big name streamers who use Streamlabs OBS. It's fine. That's not the important part of the stream. That's the minutia. You know, being entertaining, being reliably on, like, you know, a reliable person that can be on schedule, providing value with your stream, like all that kind of stuff. That's the important part. And frankly, for that matter, marketing and presentation and all that other stuff. And you can accomplish both with either product. And frankly, I think it is good that we, like, Streamlabs OBS exists strictly as a competitor for OBS, even as open source, because that drives people wanting to make changes to OBS and make it better and blah, blah, blah. Where if we only had OBS, it would probably get super stale on features, because there's no pressure to improve the product, outside of, you know, people being pissed off with the product. Yeah, I feel like I messed with XSplit. I don't remember how many years ago that was. Like, that was... Like, streaming existed at that point in time. But, like... I don't even remember if Twitch was a thing yet. Or if it was, it wasn't... It, you know, it was under its old name. And, like, much, much smaller. Like, I remember Split for, recording your screen and then, you know, posting stuff on YouTube, like, you know, editing together a video. That could also be my memory just being dumb. Because, like, I remember I messed with it back, like, when it was XSplit and Fraps and, oh, there's a few other of them. Like, and I remember I went with Fraps. Mostly because, you know, didn't exactly have money to throw around to buy decent software. Alright. Stop it. Don't break that door. Stop it. Alright, door gets to be broken. It's okay. I'll eat the roach here. It's also fascinating how fast applications like Frap just disappeared. Like, from any meaningful usage. Because you had, like, you know, a bunch of the video cards started putting recording software in the video cards. Windows got its built-in thing where you could go to what is like game mode or whatever, hit a button and it would start recording. And sure, it wasn't feature heavy or anything, but neither were so many of the programs like Fraps. They would just record your screen, show the frame rate. Not a whole lot past that. Granted, that could have changed since I used it, but it's hard to compete with free. I would really like to get in the bookstore to grab a couple of books. I'm not going to do like I have done in a lot of runs, which is, you know, scoop up all the books and all that kind of stuff. We're going to just grab the books we want right now, take those, grab a bunch of the magazines, take those, and we'll come back later when we need more books. That is until we get a proper base. When we get a proper base, that bookstore is going down. But I'm anticipating with the tropical storm, our character is going to have some reading time, so get ourselves some reading material. Figured out a bunch of front. I wonder if they broke through the window or they're just in the cubby. Because if they broke through the window, that'd kind of suck. But if they're in the cubby, that's fine. I mean, either way, it's fine. There's a back door to this place. Well, I pretty much fully expected that, because that happened to us the very last run we did this. Now we get to see how many zombies we missed down this way. So far the count is 0. Hey, no brainer. Or, no brainer. No brain required. Breaking out that weird flex. Weird flex is best flex. Well, you guys just didn't seem to care about that for a good while. That's fine. We'll just go over here. We'll sit down. Have ourselves a nice little relax. Oh, for some reason I thought I saw the claw hammer. So, it's not always there, but we have had really bad luck. I've had this house when we first came into town has been alarmed before. I've had the house, the third one down has been alarmed before. So like both of them where you get the alarm immediately and it pushes you right out of town. I've had that bookstore alarmed more than once. And like I have the normal alarm settings, which are pretty low. So let's see. We got any primary weapons? I think we had a pan. We took our antidepressants and our depression just melts away. They went out the front door because the alarm should draw them that way. Yes. But I will probably do that when there's like, I need my character to sit down to recover stamina. Like, I'm probably not going to put too much effort into that till we have a base. Like, from time to time, you'll see me shred cloth, and when I get a bunch of thread, I will use the thread for tailoring just to burn the thread away, which will get us a couple levels, but I'm not going to sit there and grind out all 10 levels in one sitting. Because, like, for one, if I'm getting hit, things are already bad. Yup. Yup. Well, little do they know, they've all drawn themselves together where we can kill them. They thought they had me where they wanted me, but I have them where I want them. Not really. I actually don't want them all in one big ball there, but you know. I might as well kill as many as we can while they're all grouped up. It means there'll be less of them to spread out and cause us problems later. Plus, I mean, that's the direction we're trying to go, so... I don't care about that later. I've got something like 12 lighters and 14 books of matches and all that. It's going to take me a very long time to get through it. Yeah, so now you see they've come into these giant balls, and they're going to walk away in these giant balls. So I'll have to go and deal with these hordes. That's the downside of stuff like the alarms and all that. They tend to cause the zombies to go from a bunch of individuals scattered in small groups into one, a couple really big groups, which is much harder to deal with. Yeah, so I got a big group here, a big group there. So it's going to be a whole thing. And I'm not going to loot the burned down house, at least not for a while. Burned down houses are really dangerous because the zombies can kind of come from just about anywhere in them. It's very easy to accidentally climb through a wall and cut yourself too. It's one of the many reasons I don't like fire. That said, we're just knocking out group after group, so that's good. That is quite a bit more than I really wanted to pull in this moment. Getting pretty close to sleepy, which is unfortunate. Gonna try and wipe out this last pack of 5, though. The duffel bag you have, lady? What do you got going on in your bag there? I think it's a duffel bag, like a green one. Or olive colored or whatever. Yeah, it's a duffel bag. .44. I'll go for one that's fully repaired, but I'll take your bullets. Alright, we need to go back because we're starting to get sleepy. I will take on these 4 as opposed to going too close to that big group. Okay, just another loner down there. Just making sure it wasn't a horde. Should actually keep the flashlight on us. I'm usually pretty bad about doing that. And just reading the book real fast because it's a little early for us to go to sleep. If we go to sleep now, we'll wake up in the middle of the night. Don't like it. So reading the book to pass the time. Because that's also one less thing I have to carry around.